To create a gradient line with matching circles and bubbles for the text, like I have here for profit margin, I'll create a new worksheet and add profit margin to the rows twice. And I'll pull the sales date into the columns and change it from year to a month. So for the first mark, we actually do want it to be a line, but for the second mark, I'm going to change it to a circle. And then to get this on the same axis, I'm going to right-click profit margin and choose dual axis, and then click on the header and synchronize them. This is how I like to get bigger markers than the ones that Tableau default has. To make your line gradient, create a calculated field for the month of the sales date. In this calculated field, I'll just do the month of the sales date. And I'll pull this under the line mark. Then I need to change it to an attribute and then make it a color. And now you can see how there's a gradients with our line. I'm going to edit the colors and choose a custom diverging. Then I'll choose two colors. And you can see here how it makes the middle part gray. To get around that, I'm going to increase the step colors by 12. And now there's less gray in the middle. And I can use the size slider and the marks to change the size of the line. To make the circles themselves gradient, I'll drag the sales date into the circle mark. Then I'll right-click and choose month. And then change it from detail to color. And to get the same gradient scale as we have for the line, I'm going to make this continuous. And then I'll edit the colors and choose custom diverging again and choose the same colors as I have for the line. And I'll make this 12 steps as well. Now our circle and our lines have the same gradients and are on the same axis. And you can also do this for fields that aren't dates. So I could do this for salesperson by changing the date in the columns to salesperson and changing the color fields and the marks to salesperson as well. And I'll use the size slider to make them all bigger. For formatting, I'll hide the headers on both sides and hide the field label. I'll also make the worksheet text chalkboard. And for the borders, I'll remove the row divider and the column divider. For the lines, I'll remove the zero lines and the grid lines for the rows. And the months are too long right now, so I'm going to right-click format and change the dates format to be an abbreviation. And I'll add this to a dashboard. I'll remove the legends, resize it, and hide the title. And right-click on the label again to rotate it. I want there to look like there's a bigger distribution for the profit margin since they're all kind of on the same line right now. So I'm going to go back to the worksheet, show the header for profit margin, edit the axis, and I don't want it to include 0. I want it to have a fixed start at 0.1 with an automatic end. And now we have a bigger distribution, so I'll uncheck the show header. It's nice that you can hover over one of these circles and see the profit margin in the tooltip, but I want to actually show it on the chart itself. You could do this on the original worksheet, but I want to include a little bubble with the profit margin text. So I'm going to duplicate the profit margin worksheet we currently have, and I'll call it profit margin-bubbles. I want to remove the current color for the line and change it to 0%. For the circle, I want to remove the coloring we currently have and change the color to white. And I need to make the size a little bit smaller so it fits in our other circle like a bubble. I want to display the profit margin value, so I'm going to move profit margin to the circle mark and change it to a text. And I want it to be a percentage, so I'm going to format it, and in the numbers, I'm going to choose the percentage with 0 decimals. Going back to the dashboard, I'll add our new worksheet on top of our current profit margin chart. For this, I want precision, so I'm going to make it the exact same positioning and size as the current profit margin chart we have. Also, format the shading of our top worksheet to be no shading. This way we can see the one underneath as well. To get the text centered, I'll go back to the profit margin bubbles worksheet, go to label, and center it horizontally and vertically.